are now listening to the Jca Sports Podcast.
DeMar DeRozan delivers! Trying to cut it back. Justin Fields making magic happen. There goes Fields. Touchdown! Turnover here. James and Cade. 2-on-1. Hustling back his point off a shot. Patrick Cade in overtime. Pitch is hit in the air. Deep to right. That ball is gone. White Sox win. The Field of Dreams! This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs, winning the World Series! Bryant makes the play! It's over! And the Cubs have finally won it all!
This is the Jca Sports Podcast.
Yes. Yes. That is Jca Sports Podcast here. Yes. Sorry, I try to get this used. What's up, everybody? Hey, the Jca Sports Podcast here, coming to you live, updated, and up to date. We're here, Jca Sports Podcast. Jose Contreras, Eric Avila here for you guys. Here we're doing this up to date, up quick, and up close and personal, simply because we have news and mainly more news to the day too as well. Khalil Mack got traded to the Chargers as the breaking news for the Chicago Bears, as the Bears are making moves to open up salary cap space and also getting some picks in return. It's been a crazy. It's one of those days. That's why the Jca Sports Podcast is here on a random Thursday for you guys, to bring you guys the information and news and to get our reaction to as well, guys. You're more than welcome to join into as well. I'm gonna put the stream on here for the StreamYard for you guys to join us, and also obviously you could join us on Facebook Live too as well on the comments section. We want to know what you guys think, honestly, on the trade for Khalil Mack. Do you guys like it? Do you guys hate it? Is this started something new from the Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus era? Do you think they're already messing it up? We just want you guys, your raw, honest opinion about it. Join us on the StreamYard app right here too as well, or join us on the comment section as my boy Jose Contreras right there is joining me today. Jonathan Ply unfortunately can't be with us today, but it's okay. Show keeps going on. So, Jose, how are you, bro?
Hey man, Jose Avila, man, you trying to tell me something? You trying to propose for it? Or
What's
going on, man?
I saw my name and then I seen you and then
look, bro. I love you, but as a brother, okay? Like it won't go any further.
Yeah, I was going a little too fast for myself, man. I understand. I got you, but hey, we got there. Jose Contreras here with you guys. This is Jca Sports Podcast is live on Facebook, man. Big news, big breaking news in Chicago too, man. Khalil Mack traded to the San Diego Chargers for a second round and a sixth round pick. How do you feel? What do you think the Bears got in return? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What do you think?
First and foremost, end of an era. When we first acquired Khalil Mack from the Las Vegas Raiders, which was then the Oakland Raiders, it was to help us get one step closer to a championship. 2018 was his first year here. We made it to the playoffs. We all know how that ended. And you know what? And then ever since then, it's just been downhill. And it sucks that our team wasn't able to deliver, But kudos to him. He got he got what he needed. Now he's out. He's still in a big market in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
But my initial reaction, second round pick this year is something we need. We needed picks this year. They were able to get that this year, so that's pretty good. But sixth round for next year, Eric, I don't know. To me, I think it's kind of low for someone like Khalil Mack. At the same time, I am a huge believer in what have you done for me lately, and Khalil Mack lately hasn't lived up to his contract, hasn't lived up to the potential we thought he would, at least not these last couple of years. Like injury was a big part of it. I get it. So like you cut your losses. This team going forward isn't going to win a championship not anytime soon.
Mhm.
So if you're Matt Eberflus, if you're Ryan Poles, you do what you got to do, and which is basically, prepare for the future. And they came in already handcuffed with no draft picks, and they needed to get some kind of leverage to get more draft picks this year. And that's what that's what happened. That's where we're at. I wish we could have got more, but I guess for how he's been playing these past couple of years, that's pretty much what he was worth.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I mean, you're absolutely right. It's the one thing that I do agree with you is what have you done for me lately? And apparently lately it's you've been on injury reserve and also having off-season surgery too, or mid-season surgery. Sorry, should I say for Khalil Mack? Obviously, you're right. We get a second round draft pick this year and a sixth round next year. But the one thing about that you didn't say that the San Diego Chargers were the ones that wanted that brought in Khalil Mack's fully contract. So the Bears don't have to pay a lick of it. It's all on the Chargers' hands now. That frees up 20 some odd $1 million in salary cap relief. So that could go spend out on whatever Matt Eberflus and Brian Poles wants to invest in. As we go straight to the comments here too as well. Caesar, what up? C's Big C's over here says, he's like, I see the possibilities, but we'll see what moves come next. Rio, who's been a day one for sure. What's going on, Rio? He says, I'm glad to see him go. He is still an elite player in the NFL, but let's be honest, his best days are behind him. I just put out the question right there, Sue. How do you feel about the Mack trade? And make sure I just want everybody's opinion and how they feel about Khalil Mack being traded to the Los Angeles Chargers. Put it on the comments or join us too on the StreamYard app, guys. It's right there. The link is right there to join us. We could talk face to face. See, Caesar over here says, bring on DK. He wants DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf, he's been in the news lately too as well, especially his ties of being a Bears fan too. So he's a free agent next year, but that's another topic conversation for another day. As we're talking about Khalil Mack here on the Jca Sports podcast, Jose Contreras, myself, Eric Avila, Jonathan Playa will join us on the chat or later on in the show. Khalil Mack got traded for a second round draft pick, a sixth round draft pick for next year, but the Chargers take upon his whole entire contract, which puts 20 some odd million. I want to say it was $22.7 million in the Bears' back pocket to go and get free agents or whoever they want to get. Tony and I goes on and says, Pose has balls for that move. It's sad, but the move had to be made. 2023 free agency will be fun.
I mean, it was a no-brainer move. As I mentioned, we had no draft picks, at least not much coming in because of everything Ryan Pace gave up for Justin Fields and for everybody else before him.
Mm-hmm.
So Poles came in, like I said, with one hand tied behind his back. His job is to solely get, to build this team, literally get the right personnel in here, both coaching wise and player wise, to help this team move forward. It's hard to do that when you don't have much to use, when you don't have much to work with. So they needed to do it. I wouldn't be surprised if Robert Quinn is next. Those two guys were your centerpieces for that defense. They need draft picks. Maybe you get more for Robert Quinn than you do for Khalil Mack because he's coming off a great year last year. So we'll see. As far as the Chargers go, they needed to make this move, guys. Look, yes, Khalil Mack, it seems like his best days are behind him, but let's be honest, he's been injured. We know when fully healthy, this guy is a monster. He's a beast. Pair him up with anybody. I think Joey is it Joey or his brother? I think it's one of the Bosas. It's one of the Bosas that are there. It's one of the Bosas that are there. You pair him up with the elite talent like that, or anyone else in that defense. That Chargers needed to do that. A, because their defense was literally their Achilles heel last season, and B, they look at your division. Look at the quarterbacks you're going to be facing now twice a year. Patrick Mahomes, now Russell Wilson, Derek Carr still there. You know what I mean? Like you needed to make this move and bolster up your defense because that division right now looks like the toughest division in football. It's crazy. So someone like Khalil Mack is only going to help you, man. So good on the Chargers for sure.
Whatever gets you to the quarterback and bring him down, and like you just said. They got Patrick Mahomes twice, Russell Wilson now twice ever since yesterday, the day before yesterday, and now Derek Carr, who's a solid quarterback. You're right. It's the moves that the Chargers had to make. Why? Because the Broncos in their division made the moves, right? KFC, Kansas City Chiefs are still in their division, and obviously the Raiders, who went to the playoffs with their spot last year, are in their division too as well. So, yeah, man, it's a move that the Chargers needed to make. I think it was they're taking on the money. That's why we didn't get as many draft picks as we would like to have for Khalil Mack. But you're right. You said trade Robert Quinn. You know, Quinn coming off a franchise record sack total for the Chicago Bears at 18 and a half. His value is at an all-time high. If you really want to rebuild this structure, might as well. You know, they're good. Tony Anaya also has right here. He's been on the on the comments too. It says might as well trade Quinn and Jackson. Can use those picks to completely rebuild the offensive line, as just you alluded to a little while ago, Jose, too, as well. Yeah, guys, if you're just tuning in the JCA Sports podcast here on Facebook Live, Jose Contreras, myself, Eric Avila, the news of the day is that Khalil Mack is traded to the Los Angeles Chargers. I was talking about it with a few of my students and the colleagues here at Illinois Media School talking about the trade, and they were shocked that that they made that trade going on. They didn't think that Khalil Mack would have been traded yesterday. And my colleagues Chuck, Chuck, our boy Chuck, Jose,
yeah, our boy Chuck,
and my other colleague David Hoffman here. We were talking about would you trade Khalil Mack for draft picks, and Chuck said no because of the defense. You still want to keep a defense that's still kind of playoff potential wise, and so on and so forth. But me and Dave, we said yes if we could get a ransom from like we got the Rams did for Von Miller, that would probably be great. But the price tag on Von Miller wasn't as high as it is on Khalil Mack. But the Chargers, for them taking up on the salary on the contract for Khalil Mack, giving us a second round draft pick, it's another draft pick for this year and a 6th round for next year. It's quite interesting. And honestly, like you just said, what Ryan Pace did, giving up all those picks, we only had one great year of Khalil Mack, maybe 1.5, and then that was pretty much it, man. I mean. It's a sign of a new era in Chicago with Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles. Like Tony alluded earlier, that Poles has balls to make that move, and honestly, it takes some big cojones to do that type of move, man. Because you didn't really think it's a franchise type player in Khalil Mack, 31. Obviously, he had surgery mid-season, and
it was a smart move, man. It was a smart move.
You're right.
You knew going forward. Like I said, this basically confirmed. We're more likely to go through a rebuild than a retooling and try to, and you know what I mean? Like, so especially in the defense, I think it's time to rebuild that defense from scratch. You need to make moves like this in order to even get to that step. Tony, I agree with Tony. Like, first and foremost, you gotta bolster up that offensive line. Otherwise, your quarterback in Justin Fields is he's not going to work out for you. So let's see what they can do. This is Ryan Poles' first year. Now he has something to work with. Now you have two 2nd round picks this year in a really deep, class where you could get some starters, man. You can get some impact key players, whether it's someone in the offensive line, someone on the defensive end, you name it, whatever key pieces he really wants to focus on. Now he has some capital to do it, but do it and do it right. This is where this is what you're here for.
For sure.
So of course, everyone's gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, and as they should. But at the same time, we're also going to have that weary eye, like, you know what I mean? Like we've been through some hard years, man. Like just get us going down the right path somehow, some way, and you'll be loved forever. But we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. My boy Deontay here, who's a student here at Illinois Media School, commenting on the page, said the Bears are closer to a rebuild than a ring. Got to get someone to protect Fields, and it's true. I mean, I think it's a start, right? It's a start of the rebuild or the retool, because let's be honest. In the NFL, you can rebuild one year and be playoff contention the next, right? Yep. So in the NFL, you can make that switch really, really quick, right? You can't really have a full blown up and then have years of you not being in the playoffs, you sucking, you not having a 500 record, but you could go from worst to first in the NFL. So yep. If all said and done, right, Jose, I want to ask you the question: Are you okay? Obviously, we want our team to be good, but are you okay for the Bears to have another off season this year for a great season next year?
No, of course. Look, Eric, out of the three of us, you and I and John, I'm always the one where it's like, look, I'd rather them, I don't want to say tank or lose, but I'd rather them go backwards to take at least 3 or 4 or 5 steps forward the next year or the year after, right? I didn't want them to make the playoffs Last year, I didn't want them to make the playoffs the year before because I only knew what was going to happen. It was going to delay the inevitable and keep it either Pace and Nagy, like delay them from getting fired. I mean, and it was just it really wasn't going to do nothing much for your team. You didn't have a team to win it all. Like I had rather them I wanted them to lose to get a better draft pick or just to be in a better position to get better players to help you going forward. So this year it's completely different, right? Because now we have a whole new structure, we have a whole new organization, whole new front office.
Mm-hmm.
I just want them to work. I want them to build. We know it's gonna take a couple years. We know even if they would have kept Khalil Mack, we know damn well that this team wasn't going to win a championship this year. And in my eyes, it's championship or bust. That's the only reason why you play this game is to win a championship. Everything you do is to get yourself to win a championship, to get you to that level. So this year, we know they're not going to do that. They're not going to win a championship. So do what you can to get us there when it's our time to get there. But it's only going to be our time if Ryan Poles does his job and getting the right personnel to make that happen, and then Coach Eberflus and everybody else in that coaching staff does their job in developing that young talent to be able to do that, win a championship. So yes, I'm totally okay with them being, in the bottom of the totem pole. We're used to it as Bears fans. Let's be honest.
True.
So I'm totally okay with that, but there has to be an end in sight, right? Your return on investment has to be a championship. That's why these guys are here. That's why we're doing what we're doing. So let's get that done.
Yeah, for sure. The JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook Live. Guys, you can also follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. Also, you can follow the show, listen to the show on Anchor and Spotify, as there are our sponsors for the show too as well. B-Wave Radio is another way you can listen to us too as well. Rio Perez, Mr. Rio is actively on the chat too as well. He says, let's be real. The Bears said, damn it, Rodgers is coming back. We ain't going to go nowhere this year. Let's just trade Mac, LOL. So, I mean, hey, you know what? He's been owning us for the last couple of years. That's for sure. And now it's another 4 more years of Aaron Rodgers showing us who's the boss in the NFC North while he's still around, right? Guys, if you're just joining us here on the podcast, on the Facebook Live page or YouTube, or wherever you guys are watching us, the Chicago Bears have traded Khalil Mack to the Los Angeles Chargers for a 2nd-round pick this year, a 6th-round pick next year, and they are taking up the whole entire contract of Khalil Mack, which frees up $23 million in salary cap. Jose, question to you. With that money that's now being offered for the Chicago Bears for Khalil Mack, what is the first and important move that the Chicago Bears should go for with this new money?
Well, when it comes to money, it comes to free agency, right? I don't know who's a free agent this year. To be honest with you, I don't have that in front of me. But if they're gonna go for free agents, you have to see what you need in order to make yourself better. Offensive line is one thing. If you can find a good free agent offensive lineman out there who can help you, do it. Sign him. You have the money for it. Or maybe defense now, right? You need pass rushers in the NFL, especially in that division. When you have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, like you can find one for cheap. Do it. You know what I mean? Like someone, maybe someone to fill the hole. Well, I don't know. Like obviously, we're not going to try to replace or refill that position of Khalil Mack because you can't do that. And you traded him for a reason. So work on the foundation. Work on the offensive line. That's what you need. And just see how that goes, man. You know what I mean? That's pretty much it. See how that goes. Try to. You want to be one of those teams, Eric, this year that just doesn't lay down and take it. Doesn't take the ass up and like they do most years. You want to be one of those teams that fight. One of those teams that are very, very competitive, that it's going to be a dogfight. The Lions last year was a good comp. It was a good comp. Like, yes, they lost almost every single game, but they were in every single one of those games to the point where you started rooting for those guys. You know what I mean? They were like they were like the lovable losers. I'm over here talking about the Cubs. I mean, I have a Cubs hat on, right? But that's basically what they were. They were that scrappy team that can pull out an upset win. And when they did, you were cheering for it because, again, they just don't give up. Like I would rather the Bears be that, at the same time have the end in mind to building a championship team. And that's what they need to do this year. You have the money, use it wisely in free agency. You now have picks, use it wisely in the draft, and make it happen. There's no more excuses. You got high. These guys are put in this place for a reason. They're here. This may be their first time head coaching, first time being a general manager. Okay, but you're in this position. Make the most of it and get us what we've been desperately needing our entire lives, and that's a championship.
No, yeah, for sure. And I think we haven't seen or been close to a Super Bowl since 07, 08, and obviously the the free agent list is still up and going. It's still out there. Obviously, offensive tackle is basically, or offensive line is a route that we should all go to, right? Obviously there's also the free agency market and in the wide receiver category too as well. Obviously there's a lot of rumors between Amari Cooper. There's also a lot of rumors out there with what's the guy, the guy from the Saints, the tackle from the Saints, Armstead.
Yeah,
those are honestly the 1-2 names that we've been hearing a lot for the Chicago Bears to go afterwards. After that, and I know Ryan Poles says he's mainly more in the that second wave of free agencies. Maybe the ones that the ones that are going to be even more hungry. I guess those were his words. As we go to the comments here, Corey, what's going on? Corey comes up and says, "This trade makes sense to me. No first rounders for the Bears, and Mac wasn't making the same difference as he was when he first got there. Build some draft capital and work on that O-line. For Fields, go for the corners in the draft. They also need receivers." And I think that's right. We got 20 some odd million for sure for their salary cap, thanks to the Chargers for paying for his whole entire salary. So
right.
that's why our draft capital wasn't as much. Whether if you want to use that to trade back or use it to trade forward is completely up to the Chicago Bears, Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus. But at this point, it doesn't make any sense. Wide receivers is a big thing, and obviously, I think, like I just mentioned, Amari Cooper, he's been a hot target list for the Chicago Bears as of recent weeks, as I kept on hearing, along with Armstead. Everybody was talking about Orlando Brown, but he got franchise tagged by the Chiefs. So yes, it's gonna be the second wave. It's gonna be the DJ Charks. It's gonna be maybe even the Allen Robinsons. Maybe it's going to be Trent Browns. You maybe not those sexy picks, but at least something to fill in the rosters. The Juju Smiths, a wide receiver, another one who's on the market too is for wide receiver too as well. Jose. Maybe like the Michael Gallups, but you're right. They have to make the smart moves, Jose. They have to make the moves. I like it now. I need a new Bears jersey. They need to make a new move. They need to make some moves or get some more draft capital. I think it was Tony who said earlier that now trade Quinn and Jackson. I think you're going to get more value for Robert Quinn that you are going to get for Eddie Jackson. I think Eddie Jackson probably makes more sense for you to keep than Robert Quinn if you have a somewhat of a potential for a possible first round. It is for Robert Quinn, or if you get another second round, heck, that's cool with it too. Get another second round pick, multiple draft picks, who it is. But yeah, man, it's a crazy day. It's NFL. This is why the NFL is king, bro. We literally had to go out of our day to give you guys the news and update, give you guys another podcast. You guys should feel lucky that we're giving you guys another podcast, man.
We're the lucky ones that you guys are
happy, honestly. We like to thank everybody who's watching, who's been commenting. Corey, Rio, Deontay, my homie, first time coming, Caesar, everybody else who's been watching and listening to us. We'd like to thank you guys very much to you guys giving your time of day to be with us and giving you guys the information and giving you guys the news and also a platform to say what you guys feel about the trade for Khalil Mack. The Chargers got today. Man, 24 hours, man. And also, we didn't look. Baseball's back.
Baseball's back.
Baseball is back. They finally made a deal. The MLB players made a deal with the devil. And what's the sad part about it, dude? We should have been excited. John texted us like, "Baseball's back." And we're like, "All right, cool. It's back. It's back." 20 minutes later, Bears trade Khalil Mack, and they just put baseball back on the back burner, man. And it's just
NFL's petty, bro. They don't want to let no one have their shine, man, at all.
But we should feel excited. They're talking about the first home games for baseball is April 7th. Should be the first week. Yeah, first week of baseball. I'm trying to get the stats. Not the stats, but I'm trying to get the schedule on who the Sox.
Less than a month away, guys. Less than a month away. So you know what? That's what I'm most excited about, to be honest, is going to the games. I was thinking about I have a 6-year-old who I have yet to take him. So this year will be the first time I'm taking him. My oldest, me and him been to plenty of Cubs and Sox games, but I've yet to take my middle child, my son Christian to a Cubs game, so I'm going to take him to his first one this year. So I'm excited for that. I think now he's of age where he's able to sit down and kind of, not be so bored and be like, oh my god, like he'll be able to sit through it. So I'm excited to take him, and that's what I miss the most. You know what I mean?
Right, for sure.
It's just going to the games, having fun. And then whenever you're at home or you're doing whatever, and you want to watch something you want to watch sports, and baseball just happens to be on. I miss that, and we're getting that back finally. So let's go. Let's go.
For sure. Let's give the audience what baseball stands for today, right? So opening day moved to April 7th. They're gonna play the full 162 game schedule will be played, so they're playing all 162. Spring training opens March 11th, so literally opens tomorrow. Voluntary report starts the 13th, which is the mandatory date. Spring training starts the 17th of this month. Free agency begins literally at midnight, Jose. So I'm gonna give you a question about that right now. At midnight, free agency starts once the CBA is ratified. The playoff has been expanded to 12 teams beginning this season, Jose. This season, the MLB has.
You know what that means, Eric? More money for the MLB, man. They got what they wanted. More money for I guess. Look, you get more of a chance to make the playoffs, I guess. Brendan in the comments, how about the Chivas versus America game this Saturday?
Oof, I don't even
a big one.
I look, both teams suck ass.
Vamos America, Eric. Vamos America.
Both teams suck ass right now. It's not a super classical that I'm willing to listen to or watch to right now. It's just, it is what it is. Let's just put it like that. Yeah, you're right. More money in the back pocket for the players. That's for sure, Jose. The National League will adopt designated the DH this season, and the CBT is gonna be expected to begin at $230 million and will grow up to 244. The takeaways, Jose, is 9-inning games for doubleheaders. So they're going to play all 9. They're going to take away the 7th inning on doubleheaders. They're going to take away the extra man on second. So that's another thing too as well. So we'll read about it, and obviously we'll dissect a little bit more in our next podcast about
Monday. John will be here. We'll talk a lot. It'll be mostly baseball for sure. If anything else happens in NFL, which has been happening almost every day, obviously we'll cover that as well. A little bit of Bulls, but baseball for sure. Mostly Monday. Rio. So question of the day: when is the JCA Sports Podcast live tailgate show in the Fan Fest? Great idea, Rio. Great idea. You know what?
Marketing management.
Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Jose, you cut off. I can't even hear you, man. I mean, I can't hear you. You cut off, homie. But yeah, we could do the Fan Fest. We could do the Fan Cast. And can you hear me? How about now? Uh-oh. We're having trouble. Salary cap relief for this year for getting 20 millions. Yasadi. So we got that. No America Chivas. Sorry about that. So we'll talk about that hopefully for next week in my soccer podcast.
Eric, you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Hey, we're back.
Hey,
I'm sorry, guys.
This is when you go live sometimes, and
that was weird. I couldn't hear you, and then you guys couldn't hear me, so I don't know what was going on.
Somewhere along those wires, technology, man, technology. Let's just put it like that.
Well, I was saying, I was here talking to myself. Brett, I was saying first and foremost, we should definitely do something like that.
For sure.
Definitely do something in the parking lot, or maybe of the White Sox home opener or something. There's really no way we could tailgate in Wrigley, but we could definitely tailgate at Guaranteed Rate, and I think that'd be fun. Is Mac really getting traded? Unfortunately, yes. It's not official yet, but it wouldn't be putting out there if it wasn't going to happen. It's going to happen. So it is what it is. Like Mac was a lovable player.
was.
Unfortunately, he wasn't able to do what he came out and what he sought out to do and what we thought he should be able to do. But it is what it is, and here we are, guys.
We are
it's
here.
a new era. We'll have better players. We still have Roquan Smith, who's going to be the centerpiece of that defense. We build around him now. And then obviously in the offensive side, we build around Justin Fields. So we have those two guys we can build around and prepare for our future.
Yeah, man. And it's what a day for sure. Baseball's back. Bears just, made the news for sure. And a lot to go on. We miss John. Wish John was here with us to celebrate the news or not the news, whatever news, sad news, good news, just news, Bears news.
Bears obviously, baby.
Right. And then obviously with baseball coming back. But yeah, for sure. We'll definitely talk more about the baseball. We like to thank everybody who joined us. My cousin Yasadi, Rio, who else? Caesar, my boy Deontay, Corey, everybody else that watched, that listened to us. We wanted to do this quick, give you guys a quick podcast to express your feelings, how you feel about that. We'll hopefully hear from Duffman soon and everybody else that are A1s. John will be back on Monday as Jose is partying enough for some odd reason, but here we are. We're gonna be back on Monday at 9:00. Make sure you stay tuned on Monday to see us. Jose, any last words?
No, guys. Hey, look, we're diving into our future. Here we are. This is it. Go Bears! Let's just get it right. Cubs, go Cubs, go! Season's back.
For sure.
Talk. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely do that. Hopefully, we'll get Tony and I to get his perspective as our baseball insider too for on Crack One Media or One Crack Media. See, now you got me confused on what it is. Thanks to you. No, it's gonna be. You know what? I kind of want to bet on that game. Both teams suck, and since both teams really do suck, I kind of see like a wide open, entertaining game. But in previous and literally like the last 10 Clásicos, Super Clásicos, it has been really, really boring. So it could either be either or, but never that. Aguilas all the way, even though we're in last place. But that's neither here nor there. Thank you, everybody who's been joining us here on the JCA Sports Podcast on Facebook, on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Make sure you guys follow us on all our social media platforms, on all of them. So TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all of it. Thank you, Anchor, for sponsoring our show. Make sure you can also listen to our show on Anchor and on Spotify. Jose, thank you. Everybody else, thank you. For us, we'll be back Monday here at 9:00. Don't miss it, as we're going to have another great program for you guys and tell you all the news. What we betting, we'll do that off site. How about that one? $20. How about that? Yeah, $20. $20.
No, $20, and you got to wear a Chivas jersey at the Derek on the show.
I would not.
Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
Nah, I would never wear that damn jersey a day in my life.
Put your money where your mouth is, buddy.
I'd rather get herpes than wear a
Get him, Brenda.
jersey.
Get him.
How about that?
Jersey or nothing.
Hey, stay tuned as we worked a little something on our outro here for the JCA Sports Podcast. This is a good one for you guys. We will see you on Monday at 9:00. All our platforms, join us, like us, share our show to your friends who are into sports. Make sure you share all of them. All our platforms where we'll see you guys on Monday.
What a finish!
Wow, that is unfreaking believable. What a way for a ball game to end.
Oh, that's what happened. Oh, that's terrible. My God. The humanity.
They may be the drunkest couple in the history of sporting events.
I loved his face.
I would suspect that fan is done for the night. Here's the thing. When you steal something, don't wear it.